welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I want to talk about more reasons why your listings aren't selling. This is what you guys had asked for this week. I put a poll on the community page on my channel here, and I asked what you guys wanted to see, and this was what won the poll at the time, so that is what I'm going to do this week. And stay tuned for the following weeks where I will talk about those other topics that I put in the poll. So if you are interested in watching this video, make sure that you continue to watch and make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss those future videos that I do in the coming weeks. But without further ado, let's get right into what are causing your listings to not sell right now, especially in the summer slowdown. These are changes that you want to make to prevent your listings from being stale and not selling. Okay, so I went through my Poshmark feed like I always do in these videos and just kind of took some screenshots of some listings. Now, these are not to shame you if these are your closets. I am not in any way trying to offend anyone. I'm just trying to take solutions that I think will help fix your listings and fix your closet to make your items sell a lot quicker. So if these are your listings, I'm sorry. I mean, no offense to anything that I'm doing. I'm just trying to help everyone make their listings better. So this first listing, this person kind of cut off the belt in the photo, in the cover photo, and made it so it's hard to see. So you can't really see the full item. And so this is a big no-no. I always talk about how it's so important to make sure the entire item is in the cover photo. And so definitely make sure if you're taking a picture of a belt or any other item, the entire item is in the photo. And also make sure that you don't use those preset borders on the Poshmark app when you take the photos. Make sure it's the normal square photo, and this item could sell a lot quicker. Okay, so this next one, there's a couple things that I would change. I would change the fact that the description or in the title, it only says fuzzy vest, which is not really descriptive. It doesn't tell you what the brand is, it doesn't tell you what the material is, it doesn't tell you what the color is, and it doesn't tell you anything else about the vest. It doesn't tell you if it's a winter vest or if it's just like a layering vest or anything like that. So I would be more descriptive, and I would also white out the background because the background is quite distracting with the grass and whatever else is in the background here. So definitely white out the background, and this listing could sell so much quicker. Okay, so this next one, it says that the item is a pair of black leggings, but the photo actually shows that they are blue. And I don't know if that's just the color that's off or something like that, but when you look at all the pictures in the listing, they look blue. So definitely make sure that the color is accurately represented in the pictures. If you need to, shine a direct light on those pictures and it will make the item show a lot better. I actually also take my photos in complete natural daylight when it's bright and sunny out, and that gives me the most accurate color representation. So make sure that the color is accurate and it matches what the description and title says, because it's kind of confusing if you say that the pants are black but then the photos show that they are blue. And also make sure that your description is detailed and descriptive, because this one just says great condition. It doesn't specify anything else, doesn't specify the material, the color, the fit, and if there's any flaws or what the measurements would be like. So make sure that you add those details, and that's going to help sell the listing a lot faster. Okay, so I see a lot of people that like to style their items in a photo with a whole outfit for inspiration, but I actually find that that's really distractive, and I don't think that that actually helps sell the item. Sometimes I feel like it's just like, okay, what are you actually selling in this listing? Are you selling the entire set, or is it just one piece? So this one, when you look at the further pictures in the description, it shows that it's just selling the top, but I think it's just confusing because you have a necklace, you have shoes, you have pants, and you have like everything in here. So I would recommend that cover photo being just the one item that you are selling, and then maybe you could show how it was styled later on in the other pictures. But for the first picture, you wanted to just show what you are selling. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of confusing to a potential buyer. Okay, so this next one, there's a lot of things that are wrong. I think the background is a little bit confusing. It kind of meshes with the actual photo itself, so it's hard to see the colors in the shirt. It kind of just blends in. So I would white out that background, and that would emphasize what the colors and the textures are in the shirt. And then I would also get rid of the emojis and the 5 for 25 deal that's in this title. I think that is kind of distracting, and I know a lot of people like to do deals like this in the title, but I think it kind of it takes away from what the item actually is, and it makes the item not really searchable. I've talked about in prior videos how the SEO of an item are so important for searchability, and if you don't have good searchability on your items, they're not going to sell. So people aren't going to be looking in Google, for example, for 5 for 25 with an emoji next to it. So you want to make sure that title is very descriptive, describe the color and the texture and maybe the size and the brand of the shirt, and then you could always put that 5 for 25 deal at the end. I always recommend not putting that, the emojis or the deals in the title like that, but I see a lot of people do it. If it works for you, you can continue doing it, but I just find that it actually really takes away from the searchability of the item. So this next one, it says that it's an authentic Dolce & Gabbana set. And there's only a couple pictures, I think there's like 3 pictures, and none of the pictures show the set incomplete, and the pictures are not very professional looking. They kind of look like they were taken from afar, and the angle's not great, and you could barely see what the item is. And for something that's over a couple $100, I think it's like $400 or $450, it doesn't really make the item very sellable because people are not really sure what they're looking at. And so I think if you're going to sell something that's expensive, but also in general, if you're going to sell things on Poshmark, you should definitely use more than 3 pictures to show the item. I think, using all the photos that you can, I think it lets you take, I don't know if it's 18 or 20 pictures, but it lets you take a lot of pictures. So I would definitely recommend taking as many as possible, and it also lets you include like a 10-second video. So I also recommend using that, and that's going to help the buyer determine if they want to buy that item or not. When you only have 3 pictures and none of the pictures show the entire item, it makes it really confusing to the buyer to know what they're actually shopping for. And the description of this wasn't great either. It just says it was worn once. So that doesn't describe anything about the material or how the fit of it or anything like that. And you're not even really sure if the color is black or another color because it's kind of a dark photo. So I would change a lot of things about this listing, and I think this could sell so much quicker. And I think for a designer item, you want to make sure that your items look really, really good. Otherwise, people aren't going to want to spend a couple $100s on them. So this next necklace is a $500 necklace, so it's a very good material and it's an expensive piece. But when you look at each picture, it's kind of blurry and looks very, like, I'm not even sure, very old or something. Like, the pictures just don't look great. It doesn't look clear of what you're actually purchasing. And every single picture kind of looks the same, where it's like blurry and it looks like it was taken on a very, very old camera. So what I would recommend doing in this case is getting like one of those little necklace displays. They're very cheap and you could buy one for a couple dollars on Amazon or any other store, and just hang the necklace on that and it'll fit so much better. And then you could take a picture on your iPhone or any camera that you use, and it will look better than the way it looks in this photo. And it won't have that like weird old effect to it. So I highly recommend doing that for necklaces. I find that, selling jewelry is difficult sometimes on Poshmark to show how an item really is. But if you put it on like a necklace display, it really just goes such a long way. And that's the same thing for any bracelets or anything like that. Put them on like a little display and it will help sell the item because it will help show the item in a better light. What's important to remember is if you probably wouldn't purchase something by looking at the listing, then you should probably not do that in your listing. So if you see a listing that has very blurry and not clear pictures, but it's for $500, you're probably not going to want to buy that because you don't really know what you're getting involved in. So it works the same way for you. Make sure that your listings in your closet look good and professional. And if it's something that you would buy, then list it like that. But if it's not, then make a change and fix it. So this next pair of shoes really confused me because it said that the colors were blue and yellow, but in the pictures they look black and white or with like a little yellowish tint to them. So I'm not sure again if this is just a coloring problem or what, but it really looks like these shoes are black and white with like a dirty effect to them. So make sure that the color is accurate. Like I said in a prior point, you definitely want to make sure that, the pictures represent it, because this is confusing to a buyer to determine if they're going to be getting the right color or not. And personally, I was looking for bags on Poshmark, and I was looking for a navy crossbody and a white crossbody bag. And a lot of the white bags that people labeled as white were really not white. They were like creamy white, or they were beige, or they were off-white. So you want to make sure that you're accurately representing the bag, because you don't want someone to purchase something and not be happy with the, incorrect color. So make sure that you're correct with your color. And if it's really hard to tell in the photo, definitely put that in a description and make sure you specify that this looks a little bit off, but it's really this color and this color. And that's going to help make sure that there's no confusion. Okay, so this next dress is actually an item that I have in my personal closet. I love this dress. It's a beautiful dress, but I just think these photos are not doing it justice. So the cover photo just shows the top of the dress, and it doesn't show the bottom detail. It doesn't really show the floral print of it. And this dress has a lot of ruffle, beautiful details to it, and none of that is being highlighted in this first picture. And actually in none of the pictures is the full item being highlighted. So you want to make sure that when you are taking a photo of a long piece, in this case a long dress, you want to make sure that the entire item is in that cover photo because people want to see what the entire item looks like. I mentioned in a prior video about the tip that you can use to pinch out when you're, adding your photos to Poshmark, and this is going to make sure that the entire dress fits in the photo. And so make sure if you're taking a picture of a dress or anything long like that, the entire item is in the photo and it looks clear and it's, clear to the person what they're buying. And again, if it's such a pretty dress like this and it has such a nice elegant pattern to it, you want to make sure that that's shown in the cover photo, otherwise you're not going to draw the attention in from the customer. So this next one I had to laugh at a little bit, and I felt a little bad laughing because I'm sure she felt good in this photo, but the photo itself is of a blazer and it's like an outfit that's styled, and I think she's styling it herself, but she has boss lady with an emoji written all over the photo, and it kind of takes away from what the item actually looks like, and it's very distracting to someone that's trying to purchase this. This looks like it was like taken on like Snapchat or like, a social media page and it was captioned. So I think maybe taking a different photo or getting rid of that caption would have made this photo look a lot more professional and a lot nicer looking. I think it totally goes such a long way to style your photos and, display them yourself or try them on or even put them on a mannequin, but definitely don't put text over them because it's very distracting from seeing what the actual item is. So this next piece is a Dooney & Bourke handbag, and the first picture of the bag kind of looks like the item is like fading in areas. You could see that some parts of the bag have the logo, but then other parts it looks kind of like faded. And I know that the bag doesn't actually look like that because when you look at the later pictures, it actually looks better than that. So I would definitely fix this cover photo and make sure that the cover photo doesn't look like the bag is like damaged in any way, because that's gonna make it hard for someone to want to purchase this bag if all they see is that cover photo that doesn't really look that good. So make sure that the cover photo really draws in the attention from the buyer, and make sure that you have that cover photo be something that people are going to want to click on and see more pictures. Because for the sake of this video, I was clicking on the item to see what the further pictures were like, but maybe someone that wanted to purchase this bag wouldn't actually take the time to do that. And so white out that background and make sure that that purse looks really great, and it will sell a lot quicker. Okay, so this next one I just took pictures of. I didn't actually take a picture of what the title and the description looked like, but the pictures, there's a couple pictures listed. I think there's like 3 or 4, and they're all very blurry. You see a weird light display in the background of one, and the cover photo, it just kind of is a close-up of a really dark piece of clothing with like a tag. And it's very unclear what kind of item this really is, and it's a $45 item, and it's not very clear in the photos, and you can't see the textures, you can't see if it's been worn or like what the condition is. You can't see anything about it. So I think if I was this person, I would take a photo, hang it somewhere and shine better light on it, and it would actually make the item sell a lot quicker. It's really surprising when you see photos like this because you're wondering how somebody took those photos, uploaded them, and then said, yes, this is exactly what I wanted to list today. This is how the item is going to look, because it's shocking that people think that somebody wants to purchase something like this, but it's just very misleading, it's very confusing, and nobody's going to want to purchase something that looks like this. So this next listing, the cover photo, which is the only photo, is actually just a picture of the buckle on the bag, and it just says Michael Kors handbag, and that's the same with the title and in the description. So you don't know what the bag actually looks like, which is kind of shocking, and you don't know anything else about the bag. You don't know if it's a shoulder bag or if it's a crossbody bag or if it's a duffel bag. You don't know anything, and so it's very confusing, and it's also strange to me that there's only one photo. And so when I saw this, I was kind of alarmed. So you definitely want to make sure that there's multiple photos and that the entire bag is shown in the photo. I'm not sure if this was a mess up where they took a bunch of pictures and they forgot to upload them, but definitely make sure that the title and the description are not the exact same thing. The title should be a catcher, like catch your attention, and basically say that this is Michael Kors handbag, describe what kind of bag it is, describe the texture, material, size, anything like that. And then in the description, you could put measurements, you can put condition, you can put if there's any flaws, anything like that. But definitely make sure that there's more than one picture, and make sure that the entire bag is shown in the pictures. So this next dress was very confusing because in the title it says that it's a brown silk dress, but in the photos it shows that it's gray. So I was very confused what color it actually was. I don't know if it's brown or if it's gray or if the coloring is just off. So like I've mentioned prior, just make sure that that coloring is accurately represented, because to me this looks like a gray dress, and if you say it's brown, I'm not going to believe you. So just make sure that it's more clear and you will save a lot of confusion, and it will actually help sell the item quicker because people wouldn't be left confused and not knowing what they're purchasing. So this next dress was very interesting to me because it looks like the person took the photo of the dress on their kitchen counter hanging from like one of the kitchen knobs, and they never really took a full picture like length of the dress. All they basically did was take a picture of the top part and then take a picture of the bottom part, and they put the bottom part first actually, which was a little bit bizarre to me. So a lot of things I would change about this listing. First, I would just take a picture on the back of a door or something. A lot of people have hooks that they hang like a robe or a towel on. So if you don't have a good spot to hang, you could use the back of a door and just put like a little command hook or something, and then hang a hanger from that, and then take an entire picture or take a full length picture of the dress. And that would actually be so much better than hanging it from a kitchen counter where it's like on a weird slopey angle because it's like being draped over the counter edge. It just doesn't really look professional, and like you wouldn't go to a company's website and see an item being hung on a kitchen counter on a kitchen knob. So it's a little bit bizarre to me when I saw this, and I think it would go such a long way to just kind of put the item on the back of a door and take an entire length picture of the item. And then again, you could do that pinch zoom out when you go to upload it to Poshmark, and it would look a lot better than it does in this picture. So this next purse was confusing to me in many ways, like a lot of these listings, because in every single photo, the purse looks like a different color. And in one of the photos, there's a bright orange red background. And so, you know, in the first picture, it looks like it's a creamy white color. Then in the second photo, it's got like this bright orange background. And then in the third picture, it looks more like a white bag. So it's very confusing. I'm not really sure if it's a creamy white or if it's a regular white or if it's an off-white. But definitely make sure that the photos are all the same and the bag looks consistent amongst all the pictures, because it's confusing if one picture looks one way, the other picture looks a different way. And so you want to make sure that the lighting is consistent through all the pictures and that you don't have like these weird bright backgrounds in some photos that look like they were like misplaced or something like that. This next one, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on because I have talked about it in prior videos, but this one just says super cute in the title. And I just don't think that's necessary. I think it can be taken out of the title. It's not helpful, and super cute is relative, so I don't think it's going to help anyone. No one's going to be Googling super cute and then something else. So just take it out. It's not really helpful, and quite honestly, it's just a distraction. This next one was confusing to me because there was only one picture of the item, and it looked like it was a stock photo from a company website, but honestly, the stock photo is very blurry. I don't know if they just took a screenshot of it or what, but like you can't even really tell what the design is, and you can't see any other pictures. You can't see what the material is. You can't see what the fit is. And so I don't think this is helping me want to purchase this item because I can't see what the pattern is. I can't see if it's smocked or anything like that. So if you're going to take a company photo, which I honestly don't recommend doing, you're not supposed to use stock photos. But if you're going to do something like this, make sure that the item is not blurry because it's very confusing and it doesn't really help the person want to buy the item because they don't know what they're buying. So this next point I talked about in a prior video, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but basically make sure that the size in the title matches the size in the description. So these say that they are a size men's pair of shoes that are a size 12, but then in the title they say they're a size 13. So make sure that it's consistent. This is a little bit confusing because I don't know actually what size the shoes are. And so if somebody's that's going to try and purchase these, or it's not going to know what size they are. Okay, and the final picture we are going to talk about in this video, sorry, I know that it was a long video, but I hope that this was helpful for you. But the final picture that we are going to talk about is this last one where it says 1X in the title, but then it says extra large in the tag to say what the size is. So I actually was confused myself because I wasn't sure if 1X and extra large were the exact same thing or not. When I did my research, I found out that extra large and 1X are not actually the same size in most brands. Maybe some they are, but in a lot of cases they represent something completely different. And so definitely make sure that you're going by whatever the size on the shirt is, and make sure that that's in the title and the description, and make sure it's not confusing because to somebody 1X might be different than an extra large, and you want to make sure that it's not confusing to someone who's trying to purchase the item. So these are the tips that I wanted to talk about in this video on things that can help improve your listings on Poshmark. If you want to see other videos on other things that I've seen people do wrong on Poshmark, I have a whole playlist of a bunch of videos where I've gone through, again, like this, listings on Poshmark and just kind of nitpicked certain things that I saw wrong. I didn't really talk about a lot of the same things that I've talked about in prior videos because I figured you probably already knew all those by now, but if you haven't seen those videos, definitely check them out. I talked about a lot of other things like, you know, whitening out the background, making sure the color looks good, make sure that, you know, there's no emojis in the title. There's so many other things that you want to make sure that you're doing. So if you want to watch those videos, then you could definitely click this playlist. And here's another video that is following those exact same things, where it's reasons why your listings aren't selling. And if you want to click right here, this video talks about how you can avoid the summer slowdown and get those consistent sales. I know a lot of people have been complaining that June has been very slow for them, so these are things that I swear by that really help me get more sales and that I definitely recommend doing. But until next time, I will see you then.